It's Tuesday, February 11th.
Tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum would be entirely unjustified.
There is still time for minds to change, but Canada and the U.S. could be heading towards a repeat of our 2018 trade war on steel and aluminum. A shocking attack. A pastor in Winnipeg is shaken up after a man tries to stab him during Mass. The entire incident broadcast on the church's live stream. And demonstrators in Israel rally in support of hostages in Gaza. Hamas saying they're going to delay the release of hostages until further notice, accusing Israel of breaching the ceasefire agreement. And billionaire Beef, the CEO of OpenAI, probably didn't need to turn to artificial intelligence to reject a takeover bid by Elon Musk. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Canada. Welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Lindsay is off, and thus I'm Teddy Wilson. Hi.
Teddy, great to have you. I'm Kelsey McEwen. Happy Tuesday, and thanks for starting your day off with us.
Absolutely. Let's start off with some of the top news stories we're keeping you in the loop with this morning. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has responded this morning to new U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminum, calling them, quote, entirely unacceptable.
We should be doing more together, not fighting with each other, but Canadians will stand up strongly and firmly if we need to.
Well, speaking in Paris this morning, the Prime Minister says Canada will try to make its case against the tariffs with U.S. officials before they take effect on March 12th. Case in point, Prime Minister Trudeau spoke with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance this morning on the effect steel tariffs would have on his home state of Ohio. U.S. President Donald Trump ordered the 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports yesterday, saying there will be no exceptions. If the tariffs do come into effect, Prime Minister Trudeau says Canada will respond. In Hamilton, Canada's steel capital, its mayor says the effects of a trade war will be devastating.
People are worried about their jobs, they're worried about their families, they're worried about being able to make ends meet.
Steel and aluminum producers in Canada say tariffs will cost jobs in the United States as well, but that's not how President Trump sees it. He says the tariffs will lead to more production in the U.S. and more jobs in that country. During his first term, President Trump hit Canada and Mexico with steel and aluminum tariffs before eventually granting an exemption. Canada's premiers are in Washington this week in an anti-tariff lobbying campaign.
None of it makes sense to me, and I'll be trying to take that message to the Americans in Washington, D.C.
The premiers have meetings set up with business leaders and lawmakers, but so far they have nothing confirmed with anyone inside President Trump's inner circle. There's a lot at stake for the premiers as they try to protect products ranging from Quebec aluminum to BC lumber to PEI potatoes. Canada is still staring down a March 4th deadline for U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods. Well, as we said, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in Paris, and this morning he met with he attended an artificial intelligence action summit, pitching Canadian tech companies to a global market.
Nowadays, there is more pressure to make sure that this sort of channel, between Canada and you, economic channel, can be improved.
The Prime Minister speaking at the summit on Monday, saying the world needs regulation to make sure artificial intelligence doesn't only benefit the wealthy, adding AI needs to benefit both high and low-income countries and should not be restricted to a small group of oligarchs. The Prime Minister also attended a dinner last night where his office says he spoke with leaders from Germany, Finland, the EU, and others, all part of an effort to expand Canada's trading partners further into Europe. A Winnipeg man has been arrested after trying to stab a pastor during a mass on Sunday night, and a warning, some of the images in this story could be disturbing. These are the stunning moments of the attempted attack captured on a live stream. Winnipeg police say a man with a knife walked up to the front of the church and lunged at the priest before driving the knife into the altar instead. An off-duty RCMP officer was at the service and made an arrest, holding him with the help of others until police arrived. A 50-year-old man is charged with assault and possession of a weapon. along with the charge of disturbing a meeting during an assemblage of persons. Police say the motive behind the attack is unclear at this time. British Columbia's police watchdog is investigating after a 15-year-old Surrey boy was shot and killed by RCMP officers on Sunday. And a warning once again, the details of this story could be distressing.
It was a nightmare around here last night, I'll tell you.
Neighbors describing the aftermath of Sunday's shooting. A spokesperson for the family says Chase had a pellet gun and was not suicidal. They also say he was on the autism spectrum. The province's police watchdog says officers were first called about a person in distress armed with a gun at a schoolyard Sunday afternoon. In security video obtained by CTV News, Chase can be seen walking across a snow-covered lawn holding something to his head. Police can then be heard telling him to put the gun down and saying, quote, "You don't want to do this." A memorial to Chase has been growing since Monday as friends and family mourn his loss. Quebec is starting a new program which will provide special phones to victims of domestic violence.
The idea is to give a tool, another tool to women so they can rejoin the police officers or authorities.
So the phones are set up to call a 24-hour hotline at the touch of a button. The phones can also provide a location to police. It's similar to a program in France that they've had in place for more than a decade. Advocates say every tool helps, but the success of the Serious Danger Phone program will depend on how it's implemented. They also say the province should address other issues faced by people in abusive relationships, including a lack of shelter space. To international news now, protesters are taking to the streets in Israel, calling on their government not to abandon a ceasefire agreement with Hamas. This comes after Hamas announced it was halting further hostage releases, accusing Israel of breaking the ceasefire agreement. However, Israel says this is a complete violation of their deal, which began last month. They also say their military is preparing at the highest level of alert for any scenario possible in Gaza. U.S. President Donald Trump also saying Monday that if Hamas does not release the remaining hostages from Gaza by midday on Saturday, Israel should cancel the deal and, quote, let hell break out. There are 17 Israeli hostages still due to be released in the first phase of the ceasefire, 8 of whom Israel says are dead. The CEO of OpenAI is saying no thank you to a takeover bid led by Elon Musk. Musk confirmed yesterday he put in a bid of $97.4 billion US to buy the maker of ChatGPT. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman posted his response on Musk's platform X. It says, no thank you, but we will buy Twitter for $9.74 billion if you want. Musk and Altman founded OpenAI together as a nonprofit company in 2015. Musk then left in 2018 as Altman turned the company into a money-making entity. Despite Altman's rejection, OpenAI's board will have a say on the decision to sell. Well, students at Michigan Tech University sure know their way around a pile of snow. These snow sculptures are part of the competition at the school's annual Winter Carnival. There were 2 contests. One was a month-long competition, and the other was an all-night building competition. The carnival has been a tradition at the school for more than 100 years and also includes broomball games, human ice bowling, what? And a royalty coronation. Wow, check that out.
That's cool. Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Ottawa, as I've said on the show multiple times, so obviously Winterlude there was a big deal.
Look at that.
And I remember being a little kid and going down to the canal and looking at ice and snow sculptures like this and just having my little mind blown. My mind is still little, and it's still blown.
Incredible.
Yeah.